I am Basanna DK, Associate Professor, Department of Physics, Vijayanagara College, Hospet. Now we are studying alternate energy sources. Alternate energy sources is prescribed by VSK University, Ballari, for 6th sem students. This is second lecture what I am giving. In the first lectures what I have discussed is the last class conventional energy and the non-conventional energies. We are concentrating only the non-conventional energy sources. So that introduction we have given in the last classes called as non-conventional energy sources. What are the energy sources and the energy crisis that we have discussed in detail in the last class. So in the next class, this class what we have discussed is the example for this non-conventional energy sources, that is alternate energy sources. For your syllabus we have only 3 energy sources we are describing. The one is the wind energies, another one is tidal energy, and the last is bioenergies. Only these 3 we will discuss today one by one. So the wind energies. What is wind energies? The wind is freely available with no cost of us. Okay. So the wind energy is a kinetic energy of large masses moving air currents over the earth surface, which is due to the uneven heating of the atmosphere by the sun. Such air current produces a force when they are deflected through an angles. Thus it can be converted into mechanical energy. Finally the mechanical energy is converted into an electrical energies. So windmills are considered here to have an wind energies. This is in wind mills what we have, the block diagram of the windmills, horizontal type of the windmills. 2 blades are fixed here to the rotor, and the blades are moving due to the air currents. So in the air currents means the use of energy is an old approach dating the 2000 years to Persian windmills. This windmill will have a primaries 2 ways. One is called as drag action, the another one is called as the lift actions. This will work in these 2 principles, drag actions and the lift actions. We know that the winds are the motion of air about the earth caused by rotations and by the uneven heating of the earth's surface by the sun. In daytime, atmospheric air acts partly as an absorber and partly as the reflectors. Because of the sun, the earth will be gets heated. When earth gets heated, the air close to the earth will be, density of the air will be lesser. Then the density of the air is decreased because of the sun rays, and that will move above the surface. Then the earth's surface reflects the major portion of the solar energy which goes into the atmosphere. The heated warm air over the earth's surface expands because becomes lighter and rises up, causing the heavier cooled air over the earth water surface. It replaces it. The local shoreline breezes are responsible for the displacement of the warm air. In the night, the breezes are reversed because water cools at the slower rate than the land. In the similar manner, the air breezes are generated in valleys and mountains as warmer air rises along heated slopes and descends in the nights. As the air currents flow over the blades, the rotor rotates, thus producing energies. These are used to grind the grains, millings, pumping waters, etc. The figure shows the schematic arrangement of the horizontal axis type of the windmills. The serious efforts are being made to obtain the electric energy from it in an effective ways. It means the principle of the wind conversions, how to calculate the power from the wind machines. The kinetic energy in the wind is proportional to the square of its velocities. Power is the force times the velocities. So wind power is proportional to the wind speed cubed. If the wind speed is doubles, the wind power goes up by a factor of 8. The power that wind turbine blades can extract from the wind is given by the expressions. So the power is directly proportional to cube root of the velocity of the wind. These are the constants called as eta. This eta is called as efficiency of the blade, and this is rho. Rho is called as the density of the air. K is a conversion factor, and A is area swept by the blades. Hence, the power is directly proportional to the cube root of the velocity of the air. It means the power purely depends upon the velocities. If velocity increases, the power increases. Hence, the velocity, so power can be calculated. Okay, this is what we have studied called as the wind energies. The another example what we can study for the alternate energy is the tidal energies. The tidal energy is very difficult to create or generate the tidal energies. This can be only installed in the nearby the oceans. The tidal energy can be generated. The tides are due to the rise and falls of the tidal. The winds are the tides are rise and falls of the periodic rise and falls of the oceans. If the tides are more, hence the energy is more. They are produced by a astronomical gravitational force by the suns and the moons. So what we can study here is these. The tides are generated because of the sun and the moons. That is, if the sun, moons and earths are in the same line, the tides are generated. If they fall in the same line, we get a high tide, because this is only because of the gravitational pull. If they are in the same line, sun, moon and earth are in the same line, the maximum tides are generated because of the moons. Then if we have the tides are generated only in the new moon and the full moon. If they are in the same line, these water in the surface of the earth will be pulled aside because of the gravitational force. This gravitational force of the moon is more than the sun, because the moon is very close to the earth. If it is pulled aside towards the moon, hence the tides are generated. If it moves to the 90 degrees perpendicular to the sun, the moon is moved perpendicular to the sun, like this, what I have shown, perpendicular this, we have a low tides occurs. And again, if it moves in the same line in the full moon, we will have a high tide against So continuously we have low tides as well as high tides that has been shown in the figure 2s. High tide as well as low tides. This high tide called as, we call it as a spring tide. The low tide we call it as a neap tide. The distance between high tide to the low tide is called as the range. That is called as spring tide range. Spring tide, range of the spring tide. And the distance between low tide, what we have, that is neap to neap, is called as the range of the neap tide. So in this, between the time between the high tide and the low tide in the lunar day takes 24 hours 50 minutes. Thus a full moon and the new moon situation produces a high tide. The rise and fall of the water follows a sinusoidal curves. Hence the energy can be calculated, energy or power can be calculated using one machine called as single basin tides. I have considered here a single basin tide systems to calculate what is the work done or the energy can be calculated. Here this is a diagram. This diagram shows a single basin tidal systems. This side you call it as a ocean, and this is a basin. So this what called as a turbines. This is called as the reversible turbine is fixed here. Once a high tide occurs here from the sea, this tide, level of the tide, high tide, this enters, the water enters into the turbines, through turbines to the basins. This basin will be filled up at a height of h, height h. Hence turbine rotates. Because of the reversible turbine rotates, the energy generates. And during emptying this water from the basin, this is again turbine rotates during emptying also. It means filling the basin also generates, emptying also the energy is generated. Hence continuously in each cycle of the tides, the energy is generated continuously. Let us consider to calculate the work done here at a height basin. The height of the basin is h. The small dh is called as dh. What we call it as the small head. Dh is small head and this is head, intermediate head h. Hence the small work can be calculated dw is equal to dm, g and the h. This dm is called as amount of work, mass of the waters, small mass. The mass of the water is rho, area and dh. Okay. Hence dw is, this dm is rho, a and dh, and g and h we have. And integrate this, or the total work done can be calculated. dw is rho, a, dh, g and h. M is called as mass and w is work done, g is acceleration due to gravity, h is head or pressure head or height, and rho is density of the water, a is area of the basins. Hence we can calculate what is the work done here. The total theoretical work done can be calculated during emptying, or the filling can also be calculated by integrating this dw between limit r to o. Hence this is g, rho and a is a constant, taken it out, and integration of h dh. If you integrate h, it becomes h square by 2, that is 1 by 2. H square is r square because we have integrating the limit r to h. Hence it becomes r square. Hence the power is generated during the emptying or also the fillings. The average theoretical power delivered by the water is work done divided by the total time takes each period to repeat itself. Duration for a period, each period is 6 hours 12.5 minutes, and the total time here is 22,350 seconds. And this is 1 by 2 that I have taken 2, and rho g a r square I have written. That is called as power is work done by time. So this is rho is written 1025, that is density. G is acceleration due to gravity 9.8. A r square I have written as it is 22,350 into 2 I have written here. Hence this power by area, that is power per unit area, can be calculated by simplifying this. It becomes 0.225 r square. It means power per unit area is directly proportional to range, square of the range. Hence the actual power can be generated, may be generated around 25 to 30%, not more than that. So less amount of energy is generated here. The theoretical power due to the frictional losses and the conversion efficiency of the turbine and the electrical generator. Hence the power generated in this tidal energy is around 25 to 30%. Okay, and the last is energy, alternate energy, is called as the bioenergies. Hence the bioenergy can be calculated or studied by having only the waste. The waste energy is converted into the bioenergies. What is the bioenergies? Cattle dung, plant residues and the agriculture waste are decaying in the absence of air produces a gas called as the biogas. The biogas consists of maximum methane around 55 to 70% and carbon dioxide around 30 to 45%. The nitrogen, hydrogen sulfide, hydrogen etc., hydrogen sulfide and hydrogen etc. traces little bit. The biogas is used for cooking and other domestic purposes. The energy produced by a biogas can be converted into the electrical energy. In Kannada we call it as kasadinda rasa. It means the wastes can be converted into energies. So almost all the wastes are renewable sources. So the main source for this bioenergy is a biomass. The biomass is a renewable energy source because we can always grow more trees and crops and the waste will always exist. The waste come from our houses, industries, farms, forest and other places. Also we grow crops, the yields of which cannot be used as our food. So there are variety of organic waste materials around us. All these waste, garbages and fossil fuels are collectively known as biomass. This biomass is a main source for the bioenergies or biogas. The waste can be converted into solids, liquids and gaseous fuels known as biofuels. Some of the sources for the waste sources are cattle waste, piggery waste, poultry waste, crop residues, domestic garbage and sanitary waste, etc. These are the main sources of the waste. These are the waste but that can be used for the biogas. And piggery waste is also very strongest, piggery waste, because the piggery waste, one piggery waste is nearly equal to 4 human waste. Hence the piggery waste can also be used as to convert the biogas. Hence the several types, we have several plants are there to produce a biogas. Several types are there. Okay, and I am considering only one of the plants here, biogas plants called as the gobar gas. This is Indian biogas plants we are using here. This is one of the plants I am taking as an examples to have a biogas, called as, usually we call it as a gobar gas, and this is the gobar gas plant. This is construction of the gobar gas plant is shown in this figure. It has two main components, the digester and the gas holders. This is the digester, cylindrical vessel, and this is called as the gas holders, like a cap, gas holders. The main parts of the biogas plants here I have shown in this. And this is the size of the biogas is different variety of pads. It can be around varying from 3 to 6 meters depth or length, and the diameter 1 to 6 meter diameters. It varies. Okay, and this biogas plant will have a inlet called as, this is mixed tank called as the inlet, and we have inlet pipe also. This is outlet called as overflow, and we call it as outlet plan, so outlet pipe. Okay, so in the inlet we call it as a mixed tank. So it is mixed with a slurry. Slurry is a mixture of urine and the dung, called as a mixture. Mixture is poured here from the inlet pipe in this. So this is from the inlet. Okay, and in the digesters, this is decaying in the absence of air, hence produces a gas called as biogas is produced because of in these digesters. This will be digested in the absence of air. Gas moves towards the gas collectors. Okay, and the waste in this is outlet will be little bit lower than the inlet. The excess amount of the digested slurry will be moved towards this, and this is outlet portions. And this is wall, partition wall. Okay, and gas will move above this tank, and gas will be collected. This gas will be taken out from the chamber called as gas chamber, gas storage tank, and this will be taken. Okay, and when a gas is formed, it bubbles out from the slurry in the digester and is collected in the gas holder. It rises up. The accumulated gas flows out through the gas outlet tube. The normal pressure here is 75 to 150 mm of water column. It is sufficient enough for providing a pressure of kitchen stoves, gas lamps, etc. within a distance of 30 meters. And thank you.